Hello friends, welcome to class 7th. In class 7th, you will see that there are two textbooks for English subject. Book number 1 is Honeycomb as main reader and book number 2 is An Alien Hand as supplementary reader. In the month of April, some chapters from both the books you will have to cover up as per the suppletive of syllabus provided by Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. So, today I am going to take up chapter number 1 of Alien Hand. Let's see. Alien Hand, supplementary reader for class 7th. Chapter number 1 is The Tiny Teacher. In the very beginning, I would like to discuss the title of the chapter, The Tiny Teacher. You should be knowing the meanings of the words tiny teacher. Tiny, you might all be knowing the meaning of the word tiny is very small in size or anything which is very small. And teacher, you know, it means a person who teaches. So, here you will start thinking that who would that tiny teacher be? But before I start discussing about it, I would like to ask one question from all of you. Can you guess and name the smallest and the wisest insect? Any of the smallest and wisest insects? Of course, you will suggest certain names like it may be a fly, it may be a mosquito, it may be a worm. Of course, all these answers are correct. These insects are the smallest, but they are not the wisest as one other insect. Now, which is that insect? Let's see. Actually, it is the commonest, the smallest, and the wisest insect. And you know, it is an ant. Now, you would have seen so many ants around you in your house, out of your house, while playing. Now, have you ever thought or imagined about the story of the life of an ant? Now, let's start. The story of an ant's life sounds almost untrue. Now, why untrue? Because we haven't seen how do they live, what is their lifestyle, but there are certain people who have kept ants as pets and have watched their daily behavior closely. So we know a number of facts about this tiny, hard-working and intelligent creature. So you would have now guessed that the title, The Tiny Teacher, we are going to talk about the ants who will be the tiny teachers. How? Let's discuss. I would like to tell you about certain facts about the life of the ants. Facts. An ant uses its feelers or antenna. You can see the pictures of feelers or antenna as given in the textbook pictures. Feelers or the antenna, they use them to talk to other ants by passing messages through them. Each ant greets all the others coming from the opposite direction by touching their feelers. Okay, is it clear? How do they communicate? How do they pass messages? They pass messages through their feelers or antenna, or they talk to other ants by these antennas and they greet them with the same antenna. Now, there are different kinds of ants, but the commonest are the red ants and black ants. Now let's talk about the life and work style of ants. Ants live in their comfortable homes called nest. Now you may ask the question that the birds live in nest, but sometimes the living place of ants is also called as nest. So I was telling you, they live in comfortable homes called nest or anthills. The accurate name is anthills for their homes where they live. Each has hundreds of little rooms. Means each anthill has 100 of little rooms and passages. You know, passages means ways, paths. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lays eggs. Now I will tell you about the queen ant also. In some of these rooms, the queen ant lays eggs. Others are nurseries for the young ones, which are called grubs. Young ones are called grubs, not the nurseries. Okay, so in the ant hills there are many rooms, and in some of these rooms queen ant lays eggs, and other rooms are called nurseries, and the young ones of ants are called grubs. Now, to look after these grubs, workers. Let's talk about workers. Means different kinds of works, different kinds of professions. I'm going to discuss here about the ants, as the title is Life and Work Style of Ants. Workers means there are certain ants who serve as workers. Workers have their reserved quarters. They spend most of their time searching for food. Some rooms serve as storehouses for this food. Means some of the rooms are kept reserved for storing the food which has been searched by the workers. Then there are soldiers also in the ants. Soldiers, they are having separate barracks. Okay, so I talked about workers means those who clean, those who build. Okay, they are workers, and means cleaners and builders, etc. And there are other category, that is of the soldiers who live in separate barracks. Now about the peaceful and disciplined life of ants. How they live peacefully, how their life is disciplined. Let's talk. No worker lives in a soldier's house. Means their life is very disciplined. They never interfere in others' houses. Workers never go to soldier's house, and no soldier ever goes out searching for food. Means soldier never does the work of a worker. No worker or soldier or cleaner ever harms a grub. So you see, an ant's life is very peaceful. Each does its share of work intelligently and bravely, and never fights with other members of the group. So this was about the peaceful and disciplined life of the ants. Now the queen ant. I had told you that I will tell you about the queen ant. Who is that? Queen ant actually is the mother of the entire population of the colony. And queen ant lives for about 15 years. It has a pair of wings but bites them off after its wedding flight. Means it is having a pair of wings which it removes from it after the wedding flight. Now about the wedding flight, what is it? This flight takes place on a hot summer day. What happens? The queen leaves the nest and goes out to meet a male ant or drone. It goes high up in the air. On its return to earth, it gets rid of its wings and then does nothing but lay eggs. It lays only eggs. In this way, it gets rid of its wings. Now, about the eggs. When the queen ant lays eggs, the eggs hatch and grubs come out. Means the next in the process of formation of ants life, there are different parts. The very first it was about the eggs. Then the eggs become grubs. Okay, when the eggs break, grubs come out, and these grubs are guarded by the soldiers. Soldiers guard them. Then workers feed and clean them, and also carry them about daily for airing, exercise and sunshine. Now 2 or 3 weeks later, grubs become cocoons, and cocoons lie without food or activity for 3 weeks more. Cocoons do nothing for 3 more weeks. They lie without food or activity. Then the cocoons break and perfect ants appear. So this was the total life process of the ants' life beginning. Means first of all it is about the eggs, then the grubs, then the cocoons, and cocoons lead to the birth of ants. Now about the training and teaching to the ants. How they are trained, how they are taught. When new ants they come into existence, they learn their duties from old ants as workers, soldiers, builders, cleaners, etc. After a few weeks training, the small ants are ready to go out into the big world of work. So in this way they are taught and trained by the old ants. Now a little bit about the home of the ants. As I already have told you that their homes are called anthills. The home of the ants is called an anthill, which is also the home for other creatures like beetles, lesser breeds of ants, and the greenfly. Means in their anthills other creatures also live. Other creatures, they may also be termed as the alien creatures like beetles, lesser mean other breeds of ants, and the green flies. Now ants and other alien creatures. Actually, you would be surprised to know that ants they love to live with other alien creatures, other creatures with them in their anthills. Why? Here is the answer. Ants want alien creatures to live in their nests because some give off smell pleasant to ants' senses. They like other creatures to stay with them because they give off smell pleasant to their senses. And there are certain other insects which give sweet juices, and some are just pets or playthings for them, like cats and dogs to human beings. Means ants keep other creatures, means other insects, as their pets, as human beings keep cats and dogs as their pets. And the green fly, it is ants' cow. They keep it as their cow. Now, the ants train it to give honeydew. Ants train it means green fly. Ants train green fly to give honeydew. Honeydew is something like milk with a touch of their antenna. They milk it just as we milk the cow. Now, this was the information about the ants' lifestyle, how the birth take place, how they are taught, how they are trained. Now, as the title is, the tiny teacher. Now, let's justify how they are teachers. What do human beings need to learn from this tiny teacher, that is an ant? Do you think humans have learned as much as ants have? Of course they have. Humans have learned as much as ants have. But they haven't put their learning to good use. There are certain things which humans need to learn from the tiny teacher ant. A few things human beings can learn from this tiny teacher are, here is the list. Hard work, we can learn from them. Sense of duty, everybody works, everybody discharges his or her duty properly, sincerely, and with discipline. Means second quality is sense of duty and discipline. Cleanliness, care for the young ones, and above all, a firm loyalty to the land where they live. So these are the things human beings can learn from the tiny teacher. So this was the story of the tiny teacher. Now homework to be done inside the class, or now as you are at homes you have to do it. Classwork is to read and find. You have to read the chapter as a whole and you have to find the word or words in the text whose meanings have been given below. I have given the meanings of certain words which are given in different pages in your book. Different pages of your book. I have mentioned the page numbers also. For example, the word is clever. You have to find out the word whose meaning is clever. In the same way, welcome, whose meaning is welcome, whose meaning is restful, paths, buildings for soldiers, courageously, to turn back, to come out from an egg. These words are given on different pages. Page 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 words from each page I have given here for you to find out. And here is the work for home. How long does it take for a grub to become a complete ant? Why do the worker ants carry the grubs about? What jobs are new ants trained for? Name some other creatures that live in anthills. Mention 3 things we can learn from the tiny teacher. Give reasons for choosing these items. So this was your homework. Now, because this is the time of Getting inside the home, we are supposed to be safe and keep others safe. So it's my suggestion to all my dear students to wash their hands regularly, and if you want to cough or sneeze, then it is to be done inside your elbows. Don't touch your face time and again. Stay more than 1 meter away from others. Stay home and practice social distancing. Happy learning. Thank you very much. It was your teacher Narinder Kumar, Visit English, Kendriya Naleti. Thank you very much.